who follow the axolotl gang will know that I usually do live feeds in the evening. But that's simply because that's when I happen to be sat down watching them. And it's already dark, so it makes sense. But at the moment, I'm on a long run of night shifts, which means they haven't been fed for quite a few days. And I thought, you know what, let's have an afternoon feed. They're all actually awake as well, which helps. So I'm hoping they'll eat well. I'm not going to make this a long one. I want to make most of the lovely weather outside. That's another reason why I often do evenings. But hopefully a few different people will also get to see them. Now, the one downside, I can't find either pair of my tongs. So I'm going to have to put these worms in by hand, which means my accuracy won't be anywhere near as good. And I'm likely to get wet sleeves. So I've got Jax here. Let's grab a couple of worms, see how he's feeling. Just pop one in. Oh, there we go, we've got a couple. Now you can see I'm not getting as good quality video at this time of day, despite having sort of... Yeah, you know I said my accuracy was going to be rubbish? I meant it. The length of the tongs just allow you to... Let's try.
She makes it look so easy, doesn't she? It takes years of experience to master these techniques. There's no shortcuts, even for billionaires.
That one looks better. Okay, so that's landed on the back of his head. Not ideal by any means. Yeah, my accuracy really is rubbish without tongs. But he has got one in front of him now. So he's now positioning himself so that worms can get to his mouth. Well, there you go. So he's had one. I'm going to move you up to... Let's just pop you there. Let's pop some more worms in. These are going to be really tricky to get to. Oh, so Lottie is hungry. He did snatch at that. It just wasn't where he needed it to be. I've also not been able to clean off these worms properly without the tongs. So this is a bit rubbish of me. I need to make a concerted effort to find... Oh, there we go. And there we have squirmy chaos. This is the trouble. When one grabs the worm before the others, it all goes a bit wrong. Right, let's see. Jellybean might not be feeling it now, but let's see if we can get one or two down in front of his nose. No, so the trouble is he'll now be unsettled because he's now had the other two axolotls grab worms from close by him. He will be feeling unsettled and he might not be feeling particularly hungry. I've got one more worm there. I'm just going to chuck that in somewhere in the tank just so that they don't escape. There we go. That's everyone in and we can sit and watch them for a bit. So yeah, he might not be feeling hungry after all the chaos. Jax has come back out, covered in sand after all his squirminess, And we know he's greedy. Yeah, there he goes. He's gone for another one. He is a greedy monkey. And we'll have several in a row. And here's one of the biggest reasons that I put a lot of worms in at one go. Because that way they all get to have as many as they want. Although Jellybean is looking a bit overwhelmed right now. Lottie dived around a lot getting his, which has sort of spooked him. So there's a little look at the rest of the tank while they're all thinking. So my Java ferns, they've decimated them. They are lasting. They're in their pots. Now I can't decide whether to take them out of pots and plant them or not. What do you all think? I'm going to go and get a load more plants soon. The pet shop I'm getting from Conscious Aquatics, which hasn't opened yet, unfortunately has delayed its opening due to illness. That's one of those things that can't be helped, obviously. But I am looking forward to getting a lot more plants. Along here, you can see this little forest is actually growing really well. And can you see how much healthier those Javas are looking compared to the ones in the pots? And actually, I think that's made up my mind. So what I need to do is take the other ones out of the pots and plant them. And then my idea for the pots is that, so see these terracotta pots at back, they used to have moss planted over them, but I didn't have enough of it. And they didn't have a connection with the sand, which I now know is really important. So I would like to get a load more moss, but I can't get hold of it at the moment. Garden centres haven't got any in for another month or two. And then I'll plant all of them out with moss, and that will look like a little mossy cave for them. And that's the plan, and I'd like to do the same with wood again. I've got the second piece of wood, which I'd quite like to bring back in. But it's a real balance. I don't want to sort of overdo it, because you've seen how much these guys do squirm around when they get their worms. They're not nice and delicate like fish are. So they do trash plants. And it's just making sure that sort of they've got room to do that squirming. I could have another go at planting this large terracotta pot again. As you can see, I've got artificial plants in, but I did have this planted out with lives. They lasted probably about 3 months or so, and then stank, and all the sand inside was black and horrible. So any ideas, anyone, of how to plant that pot out would be much appreciated with axolotl friendly plants, because that's obviously the other thing I have to watch. Not all the species you can put in with fish can you put in with axolotls. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this tank a bit more up together. I do love this tank. It's an Aqua 1 oak, or oak style. And yeah, I do need more, definitely live plants in there. No, that's decision made. I think what we'll do this week then is I'll get all of these out of their pots and we'll plant a forest. Because it's quite a large tank, you don't have to clean it out that often. I've said this time and time again. I take 3 buckets of water out every 6 weeks. Every 3 months I disturb the sand. Oh, Jax has just got another worm at the back there.
And what's been the impact on the people and the animals?
Okay. He really is hungry today, so that's third worm for him. Oh, and Jellybean, while I turned away, has just taken 2 at once. Typical, isn't it? I turned away from him, and he's gone full in on the buffet. He's got more than he can cope with.
Explaining the impact of an increasingly unstable climate as much part of the trek as a scenery.
And this is what he does. I know he does eat, but he does tend to do it a bit sneakily. It's really unusual and lovely to have him up the front of the tank like this. Whereas Jax doesn't care. He'll be up the front of the tank, at the back, wherever, he'll always eat. Lottie, really depends how he feels. Some days he's up the front, some days he's at the back. Look, he's fluffing his floofs today. He's very happy. He's had at least one worm, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's had another one whilst I've been focusing on the others. So yeah, I don't like seeing those plastic pots in there. I think definite answer is Java ferns out the pots, get them planted. This tank's established enough now. It's been up and running for over 3 years. Sorry, 2 seconds. I just need to watch a puppy.
It brings a lot of money to the country, but a lot of money to these villages. You see now a lot of families are benefiting actually from the tourists. Well,
Now, the reason this isn't going to be a long stream is because the puppy needs some more entertaining. They both do, actually. So, I think that's everyone fed. They've had their fill for now. They can choose to have more later if they wish to. Hello, gorgeous. We really don't get to see you up close very often.
Also to understand a little bit about how tourism impacts on the locals and how the landscape has changed.
There's a little look around here. Okay. You admiring your reflection, Lottie? He is definitely becoming more and more of a dirty Lucy as he gets older. He's now 5 years old, and he's changed colour quite a lot. There we go, we've got a different view of the forest here. And this is what I need to plant more of, I think. And they do use it, they sort of crash land onto it, they bury themselves in it. Everyone keeps their tanks differently, and that's obviously entirely up to them. I don't look like how dirty these artificial plants are looking now. That purple one, I have them in one of my fish aquariums, so they're quite old now. Yeah, I think it's definitely time for a bit more of a revamp, more live plants in, and get this really up to the standard I want it, because it's a lovely large tank. I actually got them this week, a new corner. Well, it's I suppose it's like a soap dish, but a lot bigger. They had a soap dish in, and they use it, but because it's quite small, they struggle to balance on it. They go up to swim up to it and can't get their landing particularly good. And I was in a shop this week and saw this large one. I thought, that is perfect. So I'm planning on putting that possibly in that corner. And again, I'd like to plant that out with moss. How I can do it and moss will still live, I'm not sure. I need to work on that one. But we have plans, people. We have plans. Suggestions are welcome. I would love to have the numerous tanks, the spectacular fish that some of the other people who stream do, Bass Fishing Productions. I love what he does. He's got amazing ponds and aquariums. But I'm small time. I am just me. I have a full-time shift work job. I've got 2 dogs, 2 cats that keep me more than entertained and busy. And I like to go, that's the main thing. I like to go away camping and go away quite a bit, which these guys work really well for because they only need to eat once a week or so if it comes to it. So I can give them a feed like today, go away for a week and they're fine. If I'm away for any longer, I have someone come in. I've found someone who doesn't mind giving them worms, which is brilliant. And because they're cold water, I don't have to worry about the water temperature while I'm away. Now I'm looking, I need to give this tank another good clean out. It's because I did the big sort of spring clean out with the big filter a few weeks ago. It brings all this debris up. So the irony is, the cleaner you keep it, the dirtier it looks. It keeps the water lovely and clear, but I've got debris elsewhere. So I do need to give it another clean now. And get it looking a bit better than this. You've got to remember, axolotls don't care as long as the water parameters are fine. They come from lakes. They're really happy with sandy floor, plants around, live feed. It's about as good as it gets for them. Yeah, these are worms. So if we look around by his feet, I've just got someone asking me. So these are dendro worms, which are basically earthworms, but I buy them from elsewhere. You could dig them up from your garden, but it's very hard to guarantee if you dig them up from your garden that there's no pesticides or anything in there. Although I don't put anything in my garden, the worms come from elsewhere. So these are axolotls. This is Jelly Bean. For a quick intro, we've obviously got some new people. Jax, the wild coloured one, is hidden at the back there. And I've got Lottie, who is a leucistic, sort of looks albino. And that is Lucy. Sorry, Lottie. Lottie and Lucy. I live in the UK. I'm from Devon. So we actually have very good temperatures for keeping axolotls. This tank, as you can see, is a decent size. It's 4 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot. And it's in the darkest corner of my room. I've closed the curtains because we're videoing, but even when the curtains are open and it's light, they stay nice and cool. So I've never had to use cooling bottles, chiller or anything else here. I know people in other countries do struggle somewhat. And even in the UK, I know when I've lived in an upstairs flat, I couldn't have had them because I couldn't keep it cool enough. So there you go. These are my 3 wonderful axolotls. There's lots of videos of them in the axolotl playlist. I better get going now because I have dogs wanting exercise and brain work. So it's been lovely to see you all. Take care and hopefully you'll join us again. Sorry, one last question before I go. Does the UK have a decent McDonald's? Is there anything like a good McDonald's? In fairness, I will say our McDonald's do have locally sourced beef. So I've got to give them that. But yeah, these guys are not interested in McDonald's. They want worms only. Right, so take care, everyone. See you all again soon.